Hi students, welcome back. Hopefully you're all doing okay. Today we're going to do a couple of different worksheets. Yesterday we did one, but before we do that, let's talk about these folders. So most of you took one of these folders home. There's still 7 of these that kids haven't came and got. But there are a whole bunch of different assignments in this folder. And I ask you to make a folder in your Google Drive. And a lot of you, and somewhere I might have put something about Google Docs, but in your Google Drive, I want you to make a folder. And when we get done with this time away from school, I want all of these assignments that are in this folder to be in your Google folder, in your Google Drive, and I want you to share that folder with me so that all of your assignments are together in a folder, just like all of these assignments are together in a folder right here. So if you sent me your last assignment in a Google Doc, make a Google folder, put that an assignment in a Google folder so that we can look at all of the assignments that you've done since we went home from school. So we're gonna start on the assignment that looks like this. It's tints, tones, and shades. We have spent some time on tints, tones, and shades already this semester, and so this is gonna be an attempt to use watercolors to do tints, tones, and shades. So it says, for a tint, add a lot of water to the color. For a tone, add gray to the color. For a shade, add black to the color. We don't have a gray paint, so gray will come from black with lots of water with it. So it'll be a little bit of black, quite a bit of the color, and a lot of water to get our tone. So, but we want a nice intense mixture of red right here. It says, using the color red, make a tint, tone, and a shade. So you want that to be pretty soaked up. You might want to let your drop some water in your paints and wait 5 minutes before you start doing this. And you're going to need black, you're going to need red and blue and yellow for this one right here. So if you get some water in your black, your red, your blue, and your yellow, you'll be set for this day. And we may need some other ones for the next worksheet though. We'll get this one done first. And this isn't going to take a long time. If you were all here, you know I would talk and talk and talk and talk. And we would talk about where we would use this and lots of different things about it. But we're just going to get it done for you here, and then you can do your own. So add lots of water to get a tint. So a tint of white is, we call it pink. Oh, I didn't get paper towels. I'm gonna have to run grab some paper towels. So there's a tint of red right there. And Mrs. Hunt's gonna go get me some paper towels. So I'll get that tint painted on there. We'll make a tone. So we'll take one of those washed out colors right there. We'll add a tiny bit of black to it. Whoa, that was too much. So we got black, we have some water, and we have the red. That's gonna make us a tone. And the tone will go right here. And that tone doesn't look a lot different from the tint. So I'll just add a little more black to it so we can get a tone. And the shade is gonna be hard because I have to have an intense mixture of the red and add black to it to get a shade. So I went out of lines a little bit. Try to stay inside the lines. We want to practice staying inside the lines. So an intense mixture of red. I'm going to put a little bit right there. And then I'm going to add a touch of black to it. And that should make a shade. So it's red with some black in it. It'll darken that red up a little bit. It's hard to see a very big difference. Maybe just a touch more black. But you want to keep that an intense red. You don't want to, otherwise it'll be a tone. If you get too much water with it, it will be a tone instead of a shade. So you got to have a lot of red and a little black mixed with your red. Not a lot of black. If you put a lot of black, it's just going to look black. So then it says that we got to make black, white, and gray over here. When you use watercolor, your paper is the white, so we don't paint anything on that one. For gray, we add black, a little bit of water. Just do it on the table. I guess I could clean that out. Maybe I will. I'll clean it out. Because if you put watercolor on your table at home, you might get in trouble. So some water and some black with quite a bit of water. That'll give us our gray. Nice gray right there. I think you can spell gray two different ways. I think it can be G-R-A-Y or G-R-E-Y. I think they spell it both ways. So inside of the lines, but paint up to the line. Try to keep it even. That's not looking very even, so I'm going to try to even it out a little bit. Still looks like gray though. And black, we'll go right into the black. Look at that. Nice low value right there. Black, dark. Dark, dark, dark. So I have a high value, medium value, low value. And value is our next thing. I just got some red paint down there. If you mess up a little bit on these, you only have one, so just do your best. Make it the best you can. Try to keep your hand out of the wet paint. So there's the black one. Now, down here it says value studies. You're going to make some tints right here. You can take the color blue and add more and more water. So it's going to gradually get lighter as it goes across there. So I got to get some blue out here, but let me get rid of the red out of my mixing tray. So there's no red left in there. And I'll get some blue out here. Make it just as intense as you can get it. Nice dark blue on that first little thing. So we're doing a little miniature painting. Check out that little easel with the little canvas on it. Paint it dark blue. And I'm going to add some water to that blue that's in my brush. I'm going to put it into my mixing tray. Voila. Have a lighter blue. That might be too light. I'm going to add a little more blue to it because I don't want to go too light too fast. We'll try just going in the mixing tray next time. Or in the water in the mixing tray. Water, the mixing tray. That should make a higher value, a lighter value. And I'm going to do the same thing one more time in the water, in the mixing tray in a different spot. That should make it even lighter. Make sure you get some water out of your brush. You don't want your brush too loaded with water. So get some water out of your brush because this is a little spot you're painting and you don't want a pile of water on there. So this one's even lighter than the last one. And for the very last one, just put my hand in the blue again, I'm going to wiggle my brush in there and I'm going to hit another spot. Wow, there's nothing. I really cleaned my brush out good. So I'll just add it to this one down here. I'll just add some water to the one on the end. I thought I could do that, but I guess not. So we barely want this to be blue. So I wet that way down, then I'm going to get some of the paint out of my brush so I don't have too much of my brush. And I can see it. Hopefully you can see it on the video. There's a little bit of blue there. That's a tint of blue. So it says for shades, we're going to use the color yellow, add more and more black to make shades. I can tell you right now that with most watercolors, when you add black to yellow, you get a green, and it happens with a lot of different oil paints and acrylic paints. So I learned that clear back in college. I figured out that if I wanted some certain types of green, that black and yellow would do that, because the black isn't really black sometimes. Really, it's a super duper dark blue. So I call that a cool black if it turns yellow to green. So we'll see if it does that or not. I don't know if it will. But we're going to start with a really intense mixture of yellow. We're going to paint some bright, bright yellow on there. And the big secret here is to be able to add a little bit of black to that, because it's going to change it fast. Fast, fast, fast. So I'm going to get some yellow out here. I'm going to get some more yellow out here. I'm going to get even more yellow out here. And I'm going to get some water and add some more water back into that yellow, because I have this weird feeling that we're going to need more yellow than that even. So now I have to add I want that to be an intense yellow. I don't want it to get lighter. I don't want it to be tones. I want it to be shades. So tiny bit of black. Whoa, look at what that did to our yellow. What am I going to do here? I'm going to paint it on there. Wow. You got to get a tiny bit of black. It's not turning very green, but it might. It kind of looks like green. So a little more black, tiny bit more. And I'll do a little darker one. That red's still wet, and I'm about to put my hand in it. What do you think, Mrs. H? Is there a difference or not?
Doesn't look like much.
Okay, I'll add a little more black. It's going to get really dark before we get to the end. That's a little bit darker. Okay, so black again. Don't go in the water, because if you go in the water, you're going to be turning it into a tone instead of a shade. And we want to try to keep them shades. So that looks like black or gray to me. It doesn't look like a shade of yellow. You wouldn't realize there's yellow in that. And one more time, so that's almost all the way black. We'll paint that one there. So that's a hard one. If you want to try a different color there, I would let you try red and black, and because the black acts like blue and turn this green, it might kind of turn purplish over here. But if you want to try red and doing shades of red, you could do that. You could try that. But I knew that this was going to turn green. It just went way faster than I planned. So that worksheet is done. And we're going to jump to this next one. Okay, that's good for now.